All right, we are live. Let's go live everywhere. Welcome, everybody, to the Patrick Carr Show. We appreciate all the recent comments Anthony does and myself behind the scenes. A lot of great stuff on the shorts and on Instagram. We're getting a lot of good feedback, man. It's been great. This is a lot of fun for us. It's probably the highlight of our day to be able to do this. And Anthony behind the camera over here gives a lot of great ideas for how we can make this show better with a lot of great content here for you. Folks, we got a jam-packed show here for you. All sorts of stuff all over the news. I mean, I'm talking about, I don't know what's going on with young men these days. We've got AI news, fertility rates, Pam Bondi. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to kick it off with a great story that we were reading about right now, because what's going on right now is the Masters, Anthony. I want to kick it off with the Masters. Folks, if you have not had the opportunity to check out what is going on, there is one feel-good story with the Masters that everybody should be paying attention to, all right? And that feel-good story is a man by the name of Gary Woodland, all right? He's a 41-year-old golfer, and man, does this guy ever have a story, everyone. Gary Woodland had surgery to remove a benign lesion from his brain that was causing seizures, anxiety, and fear. After the surgery, the guy is later diagnosed with PTSD. He wins the Houston Open 2 weeks ago. He battled the last 10 holes thinking people were trying to kill him, and he still won by 5 shots, Anthony. That victory got him into the Masters. Augusta briefed the entire security team, so he always knows he is safe at every hole. It's one of the most powerful stories that we are going to see. Now, this guy is no scrub. Years back, I think it was a few years back, he won at Pebble Beach. This is a very good golfer. But to put this in context, everybody, I mean, if you walked outside of your door and you were afraid that somebody was going to kill you, you were ridden with an immense amount of anxiety to where you literally thought someone was trying to kill you all the time. Where do you think you would least likely like to be? Probably on the first tee of a golf course, swinging a golf club with cameras and eyes all over you in a national tournament at the Masters. It doesn't get a lot worse than that, than standing by yourself, having to deal with that kind of anxiety. That's why this guy right here is our favorite. He's the heartwarming story of the weekend that everybody is rooting for. This man is dealing with anxiety that would cripple most people walking through a crowd. And he is doing it in the biggest stage in a sport where all eyes are on you. Not like you're on a basketball court with 4 other guys. It is all eyes on Gary Woodland, every single swing that he takes. And this guy is worried for his life right now. All because he had a benign tumor removed, and there still is a little bit of that tumor that remains, that from what I can gather, it is pushing on a certain gland within his brain. And that is causing the immense amount of anxiety that this guy feels. He's not only living with it, he's in the Masters with it right now.
That is so hard. And honestly, he's playing pretty good today.
How's he doing? What are we looking like right now?
He's right now at 9th, but I mean, he only just started. He's like,
okay,
halfway through, and like he already finished, but he's going up. He's seemed like he's getting some bogeys. Just keep going.
I like it. I mean, yeah, I'm looking right here. He won in Pebble Beach in 2019. I mean, this is one of them. He had one of the most beloved stories. I do remember this. There was someone who had Down syndrome on the golf course that he was guiding around. This guy, I mean, it looks like back in 2023, he went to a doctor, ordered an MRI. It revealed there was a lesion growing on his brain, sitting on the part that controls fear and anxiety. Got prescribed anti-seizure medication, kept playing on tour while managing it. But the medication caused memory loss, so the decision was made to have brain surgery, which took place September 18th, 2023. Before going under, he told ESPN, quote, "Once surgery became real, 5 days out, I'm like, if this goes wrong, I'm dead. What if I never play golf again? What if I can't hold my kids again?" End quote. He wrote letters to his wife and children in case he didn't survive the operation. But he did survive. But they couldn't fully remove that brain tumor like we talked about. There's a residual tumor that is stuck to a word that I cannot understand in his brain. And that is the part, again, that controls emotion, particularly those associated with anxiety and fear. So the source of his terror is still there permanently, everyone. I think most people, they just go, you know what? I'm good. I don't think I'm going to play any more golf. All right. I mean, just stepping out of your house would be scary enough for most people. This guy right here is doing it at the highest level. He is the feel-good story of the week. He just won at Houston 2 weeks ago. If you're not rooting for this guy, you have a problem. All right. I'm amazed at what the courage that it must take to get out there on a course like this. I'm so happy we found this story. Masters is kicking off. A lot of good other stuff to talk about with the Masters. I think the other story is going to be to see if these live golfers can actually live up to the hype. Everybody knows that the live tour has had weaker talent on the tour for a long time. And now these guys are going to get a chance to prove themselves at a Masters in Augusta. So far, I believe it's Beauchambeau is off to a terrible start. I think he had a triple here in the first round to get things started off. So it's not a good start for him. But the 9 other players that are playing from the live tour will have a chance to prove that they actually belong. We're going to see if they actually do. So a lot of great stuff. For those of you who don't know, the Masters is a beautiful time of the year. In my opinion, it kicks off. Well, we've talked about the worst 3 weeks that there is in sports, but the Masters is the beginning of spring to me. Some people say it's Easter, but this Masters weekend, when you get those beautiful azaleas and they're showing the hole and it's just so gorgeous always there. I mean, it's just so pristine. The Masters starts it all. It is a tournament unlike any other. There's something that's just so distinguished about the Masters that you don't get with the others. And I love this time of year. So looking forward to this weekend, I'll be able to catch a little bit of it and looking forward to watching that one. Maybe have myself a glass of whiskey. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Who do you think is going to win Masters?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the betting lines right here. So if I was to look at this, I'm hoping for Gary Woodland. All right. I think if you're betting though, I mean, you take Scotty Scheffler, going for the three-peat here. He's never fallen out of 20th at Augusta. He's playing great golf. If I remember, he is the world's #1 player right now. So I'm sure if I'm taking the money line right here, I'm taking Scotty Scheffler on this one because I just feel like this is a man who knows how to play the course and is playing good golf right now, at least on the aggregate. So I take him, but Gary Woodland mentally and emotionally for me to have some kind of way to pull this out. And I think that would bring such awareness to what this man must be going through. I can just imagine. I can't imagine the fear and anxiety that someone like this goes through, Anthony. I mean, this is a guy that going through PTSD, not a thing he's done wrong, and he's just out there doing it, brother. Crazy story, I'll tell you. The other crazy story of the day that we have to get to right off the bat is this draft thing. I didn't believe you when we saw this earlier, but folks, if you have not taken a look, trending right now is that there is an automatic draft. Let me make sure I do this right. A new law quietly makes the draft registration automatic. That is right. This is not a fake story if you're watching it online. Automatic draft registration became effective December 2025. President Trump signed the fiscal year 2026 National Defense Authorization Act. Starting in December 2026, the government will no longer rely on young men to sign up themselves for the military. It will put their information into a federal database and register them automatically. The government frames it as cost-saving, efficiency measure. Critics say it removes the ability for someone to object or claim that they don't qualify. So more specifically, Anthony, when I see this story, why are people freaking out about this? Well, because this affects a lot of people. This affects a lot of men, particularly between the ages of, say, 18 and 25, I believe. I'll read the story a little bit deeper, but what happened here is this. Let's take a look at what it is. Happened for the draft. Okay. Yep. Okay. So I think, I agree with this. Two things are really keeping this on the table right now. Number one, you've got the ongoing war with Iran. So we had a ceasefire, but that seems to be falling apart as we speak here, sitting today on Thursday afternoon. So that's number one. The next thing is when the press secretary of Caroline Leavitt was asked about this, her response was, quote, "Not part of the current plan right now," end quote. That doesn't make people feel very good about the opportunity for a draft. So I'm sure that a lot of young men are going to be watching this right now, especially if you're within that draft age. All right. Here's an important thing that I think most people are missing. We do have notes on this right here, that Trump alone cannot bring back the draft with an executive action. Congress will need to pass legislation to amend the Military Selective Service Act to authorize the president to actually induct people into the military. The automatic registration change is about maintaining the list, not calling anyone up. They're two very different things. But I'm telling you what, everybody, if you are a person that is against big military and against big government, you are probably not going to like this very much right here. And if I'm a little bit surprised, betting markets right now, Anthony, they're actually betting 2026. The odds are roughly 8.5% that the draft will be instituted in 2026. 8.5% is a larger number than I would have given it. Traders heavily favor it not happening, but an 8.5% chance is not a no. Let's see here. According to the Defense Department estimates, only 23% of Americans aged 17 to 24 actually meet the basic eligibility standards for military service without waivers, without needing waivers, I should say. Obesity, mental health conditions, criminal records, and other factors disqualify the majority of individuals in the age group. So here's my thought on this, everybody. I don't think that we should be automatically inputting people's information into any government database. As somebody who is small government, I'm not small government sometimes or only when it benefits me or when it doesn't affect me. The same reason that I do not want a national gun registry is the same reason I don't like this. Any registry that the government puts together, in my opinion, is never meant to give us more freedoms, but to only take them away. When we talk about a national gun registry, the only reason you want to know that is so that people know where the guns are and they can take them away that much easier. The only reason you want to know who is of military age, in my opinion, cannot be used in a positive way by the government. And so for me, I look at this and I say, I am always going to be smaller government, more private industry, and citizens taking care of themselves. I don't believe that this is ever going to be a positive thing for anyone involved. So I am not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and say that I believe in small government over here, but hey, I'm not between the ages of 17 and 24, so it doesn't affect me. I'm good. No, I don't support this for that exact reason, because I'm not going to support big government no matter what. We have the strongest, most capable military right now in the world. I'm not exactly sure why this is something that we're trying to push right now. It leads me to believe there's a bigger picture that we may not be seeing. And for those of people who walk around on the far left, this is the kind of ammunition that people need to say something's going on behind the scenes that we don't see. That is something I don't like, Anthony. But for me, I will be consistent in how I look at this, that any government database is one that I don't want. The less the government knows about me or any that I care about, that is what I'm looking for right there. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's crazy. Honestly, I'm glad that I'm over the limit right now.
That's great. Oh man, there you go. That's right. Me too. I'm a little bit over the age of 39. Everybody over here, so that's absolutely true. I'm going to bring up this next story that we've got. I'll go into this one first. I'm going to go down from the top up. But Pam Bondi, we talked about this story, was dismissed as the Attorney General for the United States just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week.
Yeah.
So Pam Bondi is dismissed and fired, I think the day before she was supposed to step in front of Congress. And now she is coming out and her team is saying, nope, heck with your subpoena to put her in front and be testified or to be questioned about the Epstein files. She's not going to show up because she no longer is the Attorney General. So your subpoena is squashed. We are not going to abide by it. It means nothing to us. She has no questions to answer from Congress. Leave her alone. This is exactly what we thought would happen. In the story right here, according to Reuters, former U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi does not plan to appear for a planned interview with White House or with the House of Representatives Committee on the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files following her firing by President Donald Trump. The Justice Department told Congress on Wednesday. She was subpoenaed last month to testify in her formal role role as Attorney General, rendering the demand invalid now because she no longer holds that title. How freaking convenient. So you want to tell me, Anthony, that this woman was Attorney General, made all these decisions regarding the Epstein files. She gets subpoenaed by Congress to go, hey, come here and let's have a conversation about how this whole thing went down, because none of it makes any sense. First, you tell us you're looking through it, then there isn't anything, then you give us these redacted statements that nobody understands. So help us come and understand what was going through your head. Donald Trump comes in and goes, you're fired over Epstein files. So supposedly she didn't do something right, according to the president of the United States. And then they go to the Justice Department comes out and says, you know what? She's not going to abide by the subpoena because even though we fired her, we don't want her questioned by Congress about what happened. So, I mean, huh?
Yeah.
So this is, folks, to put this into perspective for everybody, this is kind of like you're in a job, right? And you get fired by, I don't know, let's say you get fired by the boss, by the owner of the company. And it comes to light that after you're fired, okay, that the HR department says there were some computers that were stolen out of the office. And the HR department goes and says, hey, you know what, boss? We need to go ahead and bring back this person and have a conversation with her about this. And the boss goes, you know what? We're not going to do that because she's not an employee anymore over here. So you can't question her anymore about all the stuff that's gone wrong. But we think she's the one who stole the computers. Nope, doesn't matter. In fact, we're not gonna have her back in here for questioning. I have fired her. I'm the owner of the company, and that's what's going to happen here. And HR is sitting there holding the bag, going, "Yeah, but we still have something that's unsolved. She should be answering questions from us about what happened. Why can't we question this person? We need to bring her in." This is a joke.
Yeah.
This is what pisses Americans off right here, Anthony.
It was like what you were saying earlier. It's like House of Cards, but real life.
It is House of Cards. This is real House of Cards shit. I mean, I can't believe this. The problem is, man, like for us, there's so many things that go on in the day that it's very difficult for Americans to focus on just one thing. And sometimes I miss, or I wish there was, I never had this time, but I imagine if there were 3 news channels and all of us could just focus our attention on this one thing, that maybe some answers would happen. But we're so fragmented in our news, and the news cycle happens so quick that a story like this, it just gets pushed to the back burner all the time. And this right here is real news. Think about this. We had an attorney general fired the day before she's supposed to testify in front of Congress, and they subpoena her, and they go, nope, hell with your subpoena. It doesn't even matter to us anymore. In fact, we're not going to even let her come and answer questions, just simply based on the fact that she doesn't hold that position anymore. It doesn't matter what she did when she was in that position. The fact that she simply doesn't hold it anymore is enough for her not to come in, according to our Justice Department. I don't like this at all. I don't, and I think it screams of corruption. It is House of Cards. It is terrible. I'm sick of this stuff right here. So Pam Bondi, I mean, did a great job when she was in Florida. I think she got in over her head when she got to the national level very quick. And her handling of this and the way it looks is not good for her, and it's not good for our government. It's not good for the president, the way that this looks right now. Very, very sad story right here. Let's go to our next one right here, Anthony. I want to go to birth rates in the United States. Folks, this is a story that has come out. Birth rates, fertility rates in the United States have dropped to a record low. This is a story that I think most people are not going to be surprised to hear. Let's see here. The number of births per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44, the general fertility rate, reached a record low of 53.1 in 2025. When we look into the numbers right here, they're blaming this on a couple of different things, but a couple of things that jump out to me is we have the lowest pregnancy rate among teens of all time right now. So that has dropped. But I think that as what I looked at was women are waiting until longer in life or later in life to have children. It's no longer just people between the ages of, let's say, 18 and 30. There are a lot of women who are waiting until they're further in their career at 32, 33, 35, whatever it might be, to have children. And so I think that what we're seeing right now are people like me and my generation who might be waiting just a little bit longer to have kids. And I think that that for me is something that is not being explored enough. And I think there's a few different reasons for that. I think number one, there's been a really difficult. I mean, think about this. If you look for 2008 through 2025, that would be prime age for a woman that I know to have a child, right? Because that would be between the ages of about, let's say 2008, that'd be about 19, 20, all the way through about 38, 39. So that time, it's been a lot of turmoil, a lot of up and down.
Yeah.
And the markets have gone up and down financially. There's been AI, there's been COVID, there's been all sorts of things that have happened in that time. Don't want to look at or as strongly look at children and kids.
Yeah.
I also believe that what is not explored in these numbers is the introduction of dating apps. This is a trend. This is something I don't think people are thinking about, Anthony. Think about how much dating apps have made opportunities more. Let's see here. Dating apps have made opportunities more readily available, more opportunities available. And I think that if those weren't around, I think birth rates are actually going up. There's my hot take on this. And I say this because when I look at like the dating apps being introduced 2007 through 2008, the first one being the Tinder and, that Match.com when then Tinder was big for the young people, for younger people. I don't think it's a coincidence that birth rates have dropped. I think that people feel as though finding their next partner is easier than it was before. And so people are less likely to stick with somebody than what they were maybe back in 2005 because they feel like there's more options available to them out there in the field. The grass is greener. And I think that people are less committed right now in their relationships than what they've been previously. And that sucks too. So I don't think it's just economics. And I don't think it's just people waiting in life. I think it's our economy. I think it's a combination of things, including the options that women have and men have in relationships. Because if you rewind back into the 1980s, where are you going to meet somebody? You got to go out, you got to meet them, you got to date that person, you got to get to know them. Now, somebody can get online and in a matter of minutes, they can be connected with somebody. That in of itself, in my opinion, is a big gap. And I don't think that people are giving that enough credit for what that can do within long-term relationships.
Yeah, and going back, like in the 80s, it's like, oh, you're going on a date with someone, you don't even know this person. This is going to be your first time seeing them, all this stuff. Now, before you even go on a date, it's almost like you're handing off your resume to someone. They already know every detail about you, what place you like for food, all this stuff.
Yep.
So they could be like, no, we don't want. We'll go on another date with someone else because I guess your bio isn't the best. It's going for someone else or competing with other people. There's a lot of competition.
Oh, so. Good point. And that's what I mean. It's like now as somebody who's out there if you're dating and you're dating with intention, if somebody is, there are a lot more options that are available to you. And so for men and for women, it takes both, okay, everybody, for the fertility rate to go up. We can't just go one. We focus on women, but there's another side to this. And I think maybe we could explore that the darker side is that men are more promiscuous than what they've been previously because men are flaunted with more options than what they were before. A guy who maybe was an average looking dude with an average job, maybe he had very limited options that were available to him. But now that guy maybe doesn't want to get settled down, feels like there are more options that are available, doesn't want to lock into one thing. And I think that the introduction of dating apps has done that a lot. And so you may have women who want to settle down with men that are looking at more options available to them. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing, but I think that's the reality on the ground, that dating apps are fueling a low dating apps are fueling a low fertility rate for women. And it's not their fault. It's men who are looking at these apps and saying, there are more options that are available to me, and therefore I'm not going to settle down. I think that's something that goes unexplored here when we look at fertility rates. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Let's jump off of this story. I like Let's see here where we're going. This next one, though, is brutal. All right. Folks, we talk a lot here on this show and about my company with AI. All right. This next story caught my attention from USA Today this morning, Anthony. An Ohio man is the first person in the U.S. convicted under the new federal deepfakes law. Folks, if you have not gotten a chance to see what AI can do with video and pictures, you have no idea. We work in media every single day. We see what it can do in an instant with just a prompt. All right. And luckily, the things like Artlist and other mainstream AI services that are out there put guards in place to prevent sickos from doing bad things on these apps with AI. So that would be things like nudity or things that would be terrible to, just terrible things to show, all right, with the AI prompts. However, though, there is open source out there, and there are people that will use the technology that we have in the worst way. That's exactly what this man in Ohio did. An Ohio man is believed to be the first person in the nation to be convicted under a new federal law for using AI-generated sexually explicit images of women to intimidate and to harass them, prosecutors say. James Stoller, 37, pleaded guilty on Tuesday, April 7th, to cyberstalking, producing obscene visuals, let's just say, of terrible things here, folks. I don't want to go into this, and publishing digital forgeries, according to U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Ohio. Now, here's the big deal. His conviction for the publication of digital forgeries is covered under the Take It Down Act, which was enacted in 2025 by federal lawmakers and signed into law by Donald Trump. When I look at this, everybody, this is a great thing. And that this person is being arrested, and I hope that this person gets charged with the greatest extent of the law, Anthony, because we need to set an example very quickly that this kind of stuff is not going to be tolerated. And it's awful what is happening with this stuff, these deep fakes. And if you're not involved in AI, what is happening is that people are taking the technology that these big companies are using with open source code, then they're going and manipulating it themselves to where there is no guardrails on the AI and the tech. And they're going in there and they're doing things like taking a picture of a woman or a young person, a young girl, and they are making the AI fabricate images. Everyone kind of use your imagination here as I use my words carefully, and even videos that are awful. And I want to tell you that AI is becoming to a point where it's very difficult to distinguish between reality and what's fake. And so when images like that are getting passed around online by fake accounts, when images like that make it into schools, when they get sent to parents, when breakups happen and those kind of forgeries go out to hurt other people, once the damage is done, it's very difficult to undo. And what these people are doing, this group of individuals, it's becoming a new crime out there, is nothing short of sickening or disgusting, whatever word you want to put into it. And I'm so happy that we now have federal law that will dictate what kind of penalties these people get, not having state judges that are left up to their decisions about what's going to happen to these people. The technology that we have with AI is a beautiful thing, but there are terrible people in this world who will corrupt anything. And this is yet another example of that. I want to say this to people, though, about it, because there will be people who say AI is going too far. I far believe that there's more positive that comes from AI right now than ever before. More positive than has come from social media apps, in my opinion, that's for sure. I think you can make a very big argument that the net of social media is not a positive thing. But as of right now, the net for AI is very positive in what it's doing for this world. And there always are going to be people that try to corrupt what is good. But we can't prevent progress because of a few people who are sickos, all right? What we can do is do everything we can to remove those people from this world, put them into prison, and let them rot there. That is what we need. And I hope that they set an example with sentencing for this guy, Anthony, because tormenting women like this, this is said that according to the record, Stoller had more than 24 AI platforms and 100 AI web-based models installed or downloaded on his phone, where he would take images and then use those images to generate over 700 images of both real victims and animated people. He also sent them harassing messages to his adult victims, according to prosecutors. Yeah, there's a special place and you know where for this guy. And the sooner he goes there, the better it's going to be for everybody. All right. So let's make an example out of this. And I hope to God that they do that very quickly. But I still believe that when it comes to AI, brother, that there are far more great things that are going to happen from it than crazy like this. Okay. Yeah. But still just a terrible story right there. Okay. Final story of the day that we've got as we round out. I found this one this morning. A new survey reveals what is ailing young men, Anthony. And the statistics, well, they're pretty surprising. I want to go through some of this right here. Again, new survey reveals what ails young men. Let's look at the stats. 77% of men 18 to 24 said they spend more than 5 hours a day online. 48% of those same men say they socialize less than 1 hour a day. 57% of Gen Z men described their mental health as fair, poor, or very poor. 40% say they have no one to turn to for guidance. That last one just really stuck out to me, Anthony. 40% of men 18 to 28 say they have no one, quote, to turn to for guidance. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I think that in this world, men tend to, we far underestimate the value of men sometimes, and just being able to have somebody that you can talk to and that you can go to listen and to give you real good advice. I lost my father far too early in life, and there have been so many mistakes that I've made, both recently in my life and for the past however many years, where I wish I could have gone to him and been like, hey man, what's going on? And when that person is gone out of your life, there is a hole that gets there that is very difficult to fill that void. I can't imagine though, that for so many that person may not have ever been there. And I think what this article is describing is that these young men have never had somebody that they can turn to. And instead, what they're doing is they're getting the idea of what it means to be a man from movies or from Hollywood, instead of from an adult that they can look to and go, yeah, that's it right there. And to me, this is why 40% say they have no one. 57% Gen Z men describe their mental health as fair, poor, or very poor. That to me it's so sad. And as I sat here and I'm thinking about it just earlier today, it's not a surprise to me. We were talking about this, that manners are disappearing from this world. And I think it's because men have no one that they can look up to. If we're saying 40% of men 18 to 28 have no one they can turn to, I don't think it's any wonder that manners have been disappearing from this world for the last 20 years. In fact, I went ahead and took the liberty of looking up some of those manners that today are no longer around. And we're going to go through a couple of them here. For those of you who are over the age of 35, probably these are going to resonate with you a little bit more. And if you're under the age of 35, I want you to think how many of these you actually know about and would actually abide by with a significant other or in a formal setting. Manners are disappearing, but they don't have to. Let's talk about some of the ones that I see here. Number one, guys who don't walk on the outside when you're walking with a woman. Gentlemen, if you are walking with a woman after a date and you're walking on a sidewalk, you walk on the outside, not the inside. If here in Orlando, we have Winter Park, Park Avenue. You can drive down there every single day and men walking on the inside. It is one of the most beta moves you can make as a man. All right. Take your woman, move her to the inside, and walk on the outside like a gentleman. This has gone away somehow. And somehow women are accepting it. And guys, if you don't think this is a real thing, I promise you, any good woman is testing you when this opportunity happens. Take her, move her to the inside, and show her that you're a gentleman. If you don't, I got nothing to tell you. I'm telling you, 99% of the time, she is going to notice it right away. Whether she says something or not, she's going to go, okay, this guy was raised right. Walk on the outside, guys. This has gone away. What's the other one I saw right here? Let's see. This one, me and you talked about, I think, a couple of days ago, okay? I love this one. as a man in a formal setting, okay, whether it be a business lunch, a dinner, if a woman stands up to go to the restroom, you stand with her. All right. This would be like if, sitting right there, I'm going to stand. And a lot of times, all it is just like a little half stand. It's letting somebody know I recognize that you're leaving the table. As men, we've lost this, Anthony. This is something that men do not do anymore. I remember being on a double date, and a friend of mine who lives here in Orlando, we both did this at the same time. We actually stood when, it was his girlfriend at the time that left. And we immediately noticed one another. It was like, okay, I get you. You understand. Like, man, this is good. All right. Standing when a woman leaves a table is a sign of respect. It's a sign of protection, is what you're trying to say, and alertness to the fact that that person is leaving the table.
It's very interesting too, because when you brought that up to me a couple of days ago, I didn't even know that was even a thing at all. Like that, no one even said anything or nothing.
And I think we all recognize it's not. I don't think it's on this list, but the one thing that I would say me and you both agreed on is if somebody comes to a table where you are sitting, the right thing to do is to stand up to shake their hand. One of the things that I think is a real beta sign as a man, okay, is you're like shaking someone's hand like this. No, stand up and shake someone's hand and look them in the eye. All right, be a gentleman. All right, don't think you're more important than anybody. I that's another thing. If somebody doesn't think that they're too important, I'm not going to get up for them. It's like, who do you think you are? Everybody in this world is a person. Everyone who comes up to me when I sit down, I'm going to sit up and I'm going to shake their hand. I don't care if it's a server. I don't care if it's somebody that's working as it doesn't matter your position in life. To me, you're a person. And I can show you the respect of standing, shaking your hand, and letting that be that, and looking you in the eye like a man. That to me has been gone. So those two things right there. Number 3, I like this one. I think opening the door is still around.
Yeah.
We still think opening the door is around right now.
I don't know about opening doors to cars though.
Ooh.
I've seen people open doors, but not the cars. They usually like have the girl do it, and like, what are you doing? You gotta go around, open the door for your girl.
Yeah, this should be happening a lot more. And I think setting matters when it comes to if you open the door for your girl. For instance, if you're going on a date, you're going to open the door. All right. If you're going out somewhere, I think even errands on a Saturday afternoon, open the door. There are times where I think it's like, okay, I got it. After the gym, we're leaving together, right? Maybe I'm not opening the door. We're both tired. We're both sweaty. We go and open. I got it. Okay. But those occasions are rare. You need to open the door for your girl. And I'll tell you, I think some men are a little bit nervous, Anthony, about the way that it makes them look when they walk over. It's kind of like, should I, do it. Be a gentleman. And if a woman doesn't appreciate the fact that you are opening her door for her because you care about her, then that is not the person to be with. It doesn't show that you're any kind of patriarchy or that you're better than her or anything. It just means I care about you and want you to put in a little less work today than what you were going to. Heck, if there was a machine that opened the door for me, I'll take that. I'll take that thing. But I think for men, it shows a level of care and concern for how that person's day is going, and that you want to make their day just a little bit easier and a little bit brighter. And we should want to do that as men. It's a great thing. Opening the door for the car, very underrated right there, and doesn't happen nearly enough. We mentioned this one a minute ago, making eye contact and giving a firm handshake. The floppy fish is a real thing, okay? Like if you're doing this, folks, everybody, proper handshake, web to web, all right? That's what you need to lock it in there, web to web, and give a firm handshake. I don't think I don't need somebody to squeeze my hand off, all right? Like I get it. If some people like the Donald Trump, I'm going to show you like that. But a good web to web grab and good handshake, look them in the eye, be a gentleman. I agree. This one, me and you both loved, offering your seat. I remember back in college when we would ride on like the buses that would go around University of Florida. It was one of the things that we would always get onto any kind of young man about who was in a fraternity. I know what people are thinking. A fraternity, yeah, a real gentleman there. But we were trying to institute some level of chivalry,
Yeah.
And some kind of chivalry. Meaning that if a woman is standing on a crowded bus and you are sitting and you do not offer her your seat, you're nothing more than a jerk. When a woman is standing anywhere and there's an opportunity for her to sit and you're taking it, get the heck up. Offer. And if she says no, I still stand away. And you let her sit down. She'll take it because it's the right thing to do.
In Orlando, I do this all the time whenever I go on the monorail.
Huh?
And like the monorails get packed from Disney, and like you see like these pregnant moms with like 20 kids, and then they're just standing up because there's like no seats for all of them. So I just get up and on my seat. But then I see some of these guys, and it's just like big dudes just like sitting there, just like I got the seat first. I'm like, no, get up, just
Get up.
Yeah.
Come on. What are you doing, man? This to me, like we talked about, when you don't have a role model or you don't have anybody to tell you you're being a jerk, and sometimes people just end up being a jerk. All right. These are not things for me that are difficult to understand, or they're not like a patriarchy where it's like, I'm better than you, or I'm some way more powerful, so you're a damsel in distress that I have to give up my seat. It's nothing like that. What it is, I am trying to say that, hey, listen, I recognize that I can stand and you can sit. Take a load off. You're good. All right. And I don't ever want to lose that. Be a nice person. Be a good person. All right, to people. That should go without saying. The next one they have right here that we were writing down. This one is a little bit, well, I don't want to say more controversial, Anthony, but it's a little less well known, and I'm not sure that everyone would agree with it. So we talked about opening the door for a woman, but who walks in the door first? So once you open a door for a woman, who should walk in the door first?
Well, honestly, for me, I know we talked about it before,
Yeah.
but I would have always assumed the woman would.
Right. And I think that's how most men, I think that's 99% of people, how they would think. But let me offer a different perspective. It's situational who walks in the door first. If you're walking into a familiar environment, I agree. Open the door, woman walks in first to your home, a family gathering, some kind of, holiday event, right? But if let's just say you're in a place where maybe you're on vacation and you're walking into an unfamiliar environment, I would open the door, walk in, hold it for the woman behind me that's with me, if that was the case. And I'm going to walk in first, because what I recognize is this is an unfamiliar environment that I'm opening the door to her to walk into without understanding what's on the other side. And so as a gentleman, I always want to make sure I'm opening the door, but paired with what happens after I open the door to make sure that that person who I'm with is protected to the best of my ability. This is something I don't think a lot of people give some thought to. All right. And then finally, we got a couple more. Removing your hat indoors. I think this one's kind of fallen to the wayside as of late. But I still think there are occasions, like if you're at a Thanksgiving dinner, right? If you're going to church, some professional work environments, I agree, you need to take your hat off. We work a lot with contractors, as you know. People wear their hats all the time. I don't think just going indoors means you have to take it off. But special occasions, I still believe that's a thing, though, that people are doing that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the last one they have right here is putting your phone away during conversation. This one right here is one that in a media world, I never understood till I saw people do it on stage, how distracting it was and disrespectful to your audience. We talk about this from the perspective of like being on camera. I try not to, when I'm on camera right now, hold my phone like this, right? Because even though I'm just, me and you were talking, or the camera, it shows that I'm not actually engaged with the audience. And I'll look at stuff, the notes that we have right here, but I try to put it down. It does say that I'm not engaged. You have my full attention right now. And I think that this is something that we don't give enough credit to, or we don't realize how much effect it has on how people perceive the level of tension that we're giving them in a conversation.
Honestly, I don't even think that's like a gentleman thing. I think it's just every person should know this or do this, because I feel like recently just phones have been, or at least apps now, like they're sending me random notifications, and I look because I'm like, what is it? And they're just sending me something stupid that I'm like, okay, whatever. But because I look, now I'm like, okay, now I want to go on my phone to open it or see it.
Yep.
And it's so annoying. I'm like, I don't need this notification right now. Just give me notifications that's text or someone messages me or something, but not some random notification. I'm like, I don't need this.
You're getting hit with it all the time.
Yeah.
You can't escape it. And people talk about, are we going to become like androids and chips inside of our head? Folks, we are already there. You don't go within 10 yards without having your phone. I mean, would there be that much of a difference if they put a chip in our arm? I don't think so. I mean, the phone is basically the same exact thing. You don't go anywhere without it. If you go to the bathroom, without it, you have a panic, like what's going on? All right. If you get in your car and you don't know where it is, you're getting out to try to find it. Like, we are already so attached to our phones, we might as well just be androids ourselves. All right. We're already so locked in with this thing. But when it comes to manners, putting that thing down, and not just putting it down in a formal situation. Like, for instance, we were talking about if you're with a partner and you were on a date and whatever situation, putting it on the table and putting it away are two very different things. So when I look at a phone, having it, two people who have their phone just out on a table is very different than two people who are saying, I'm done, like putting it away, right? So that to me is very important. All right. That ends the show, everybody. A lot of great stuff that we had here today. I'm telling you, we went through a gamut of things right now. Thank you so much, Anthony. I appreciate all the topics. We'll see y'all next time here on the Patrick Carr Show.
Okay, I added that for tonight.
No, well, I don't know. Thanks a lot, Siri. I'm coming, everybody.
It's deleted.
Oh, okay. There we go, the phone.